Okay. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about how we've generated over $100,000 on LinkedIn this year with this one post type. So what is this post type? It's a lead magnet slash giveaway post. So you've seen these all over LinkedIn. It's one of those posts where you create this valuable resource. It could be a swipe file, could be some kind of SOP, could be a case study breakdown or a process breakdown. I'd consider what we're doing right now a process breakdown. It's taking something that's working within the business and breaking it down as a piece of value. So basically what you do is you create one of these valuable pieces of content that already exists within your business, or you create it new and you give it away in return for a like and comment. Okay, you've probably seen these around and you're probably asking, do they even work? And I can tell you that these are single-handedly responsible for generating over $100,000 in revenue for me and my clients so far this year, just these alone. And they're so powerful. It's one of the first things I recommend to all my clients to run when we start working together. And I've been doing this for 1.5, 2 years, running these kinds of posts, but they've really only gained popularity, I'd say, in the last 6 months or so. So let me just show you a couple of examples of clients going viral with these kinds of posts, and you can just see how they look. So this is one of my old clients. He's in the email marketing niche for ecom brands. As you can see, this got over 2,000 comments, and this was a year ago. So these kinds of posts have been working for a long time, and I think they're going to continue to be working for a while, okay, until they get patched. At some point they might get patched, but right now we're still in the golden era. So yeah, 2,000 comments. What I want you to take note of, right, is this hook. So the best giveaway hooks are ones that are quite sensationalist. Okay, they offer a big payoff, right, and a lot of credibility. And there's usually numbers in the hook. I call these flex hooks, where the hook is essentially a massive flex. And the reason why this works so well is because firstly, it gains attention. But when you flex, say, let's just say I generate over X million with with SEO, right? When you say that and you flex in that way, and obviously you have to be able to back it up, but when you flex first and then you say, I wrote a super doc or I have a swipe file, which goes into how exactly I did that, it just adds more credibility to the resource, right? Because if you just give away a resource and there's no context, it doesn't seem that valuable. But when you flex and you kind of show your credibility first and then you give away the resource, it gives more weight to that resource because you're actually someone that's done stuff and you've achieved stuff in your industry. So the thing that you're giving away just becomes more valuable, even if it's just it just seems more valuable. I can't remember the word for it. Perceived value. Even if the value is only perceived value, it increases that. Okay, so just keep note of these kinds of hooks because a lot of the lead magnets, successful lead magnets, have similar hooks. Here's another example of another one of my old clients. As you can see, once again, he was in the ecom niche as well. He's kind of changed his niche now into more AI stuff. But 1,500 comments, and yeah, a lot of these people booked calls and became clients. And when you're doing these kinds of posts on a weekly basis, just imagine the amount of attention that you're going to get. But wait, before we go into the but, what can you give away? So obviously I mentioned they can be, process breakdowns, case study breakdowns, but just some more examples. They can be SOPs. And the cool thing about SOPs is you already have them within your business. So let's just say you run an email marketing agency. You already have SOPs that are super, super valuable within your agency that you use. You already have flows, proven email templates, proven graphics, let's say swipe files. All of these things are already within your agency. So all you need to do is kind of extract one of them and give them away. Okay. They can also be swipe files, cheat sheets, free trainings, written breakdowns, kind of like this document, or really anything else your ideal clients would find valuable. So let's just say I was your ideal client and I'm scrolling on LinkedIn. This thing that you're giving away needs to catch my attention. So let's just say I am interested in AI right now. I'm a founder of like a 7-figure agency and I'm interested in AI right now, like voice chatbots and all of that kind of good stuff. And then you have a giveaway where you break down exactly how you install this chatbot in another business and you help them generate 6 figures of revenue, that's going to catch my attention, and I might opt in to that giveaway, right? Because I want to see, like, what are you doing? Like, what have you done for them? Are you legit? So on and so forth. And this process of people commenting and liking to get access to the resource creates an engagement loop. I call it a viral loop, because the more valuable it is, the more comments it's going to get. The more comments it gets, the more reach it's going to get, which leads to more comments, right? So it's just this viral loop. But so far, everything I've talked about, right, is around engagement, is around comments, is around this and is around that. But what I really want to focus on before I even get into how to write the post is how to turn these giveaways into booked calls. Because engagement's all well and good, comments are all well and good, but if you don't have this back end stuff, if you don't have what I'm going to be talking about in a second ready to basically be deployed, you're just going to get a short burst of engagement, a short burst of followers, and then that's it. So you need to understand how to turn these giveaways into booked calls. And the first way to do it is in the resource itself. You want to obviously add value, but you also want to include multiple calls to action within the resource. And also a direct call to action at the end of the resource, right? So for example, let's just say you give away some kind of document. You don't want the document to just be just plain value. You want value there, but you also want to sprinkle some calls to action to book a call with you. Maybe sprinkle some calls to action which lead to your VSL or lead to your YouTube channel or wherever it may be. And if your resource is truly valuable, a percentage of people will book a call with you. The second thing you can do is think about it, right? When you do this giveaway, obviously people are going to comment, which means that you're going to have to DM them the resource, right? Most people, they just DM the resource and they just forget about these people. But if you really want to book a lot of calls from these giveaways, you need to do it differently. And one of the ways is to add a strategic PS. So just an example is, let's just say I was giving away an outbound document, right? It talked about cold outbound, how to do cold outbound well, for example. So when I'm DMing people that opted in, I'm going to say something like, "Hey, name, thanks for requesting the cold outbound document. Here it is," and then with the link. And then PS, are you currently doing much cold outbound for your company right now? Or is it something you'd like to introduce soon? So this PS is something that starts conversations. And it's going to start conversations naturally and will allow you to start speaking to these people that are your ICP. And the reason for this PS is simply to start a conversation, is to spark a conversation where you can then go on and ask more questions, figure out if they have pains that you can potentially solve, right? But if you don't add this PS, you're not going to be starting conversations with these people. And just by adding a simple PS, you're going to get a percentage of your ICP to reply, and then a conversation can begin. You can even get creative with your PS, right? So you don't have to ask a this or that question like I did there. You can even ask if they want an audit. So for example, PS, if you got an ecom brand, you want a free email audit. Reply, sure, why not? And I'll get you booked in. So again, if you are an email marketing agency or your ICP were ecom brands and you gave away something to do with e-commerce, but you really want the people that actually have ecom brands to raise their hand so you can start a conversation with them and move them through your funnel, the PS could be something like this. And as you can see, this is a very natural, doesn't seem salesy at all, and it's pretty irresistible of an offer as well. And if you do something like this, there's going to be a lot of people that say, yeah, sure, like, sure, why not? Get me booked in. And again, this is how you can start booking calls and generating leads simply with little giveaways. Next, short-term follow-up. Okay, I call this short-term follow-up, this first one. Okay, so a lot of people, again, they're going to do the giveaway, and maybe they're going to send the resource and add a little PS. They're going to add the PS, but then they're going to forget about these people, right? And that's what amateurs do. But professionals, what they do is firstly they do short-term follow-up. So let's just say a couple of days later, if you've done the giveaway, you've sent all the giveaways out, and 2 or 3 days have gone past. You want to go through all of these people that you've sent them to. You want to view their profile. You want to check that they're qualified. And if they are, and if they're worth your time, you want to follow up again a couple of days later or 3 days later. You want to say something like, "Hey name, how'd you find the lead magnet?" Or, "Hey name, did you get a chance to implement this yet?" Or, "Hey name, did you get a chance to use X? Yeah, let me know how it went. Not let me know how it goes. Let me know how it went." And again, the reason we do this is to simply spark conversations with the right people. And once we can spark the conversation, we can then naturally go back and forth, ask them questions, and if they have pain, we can see if they're open to us showing them how we can solve that pain. And that's what Sell by Chat is. It's simply getting them to first reply to you, then getting them to open up around their pains, and if they have a pain that you can solve, seeing if they're open to you potentially solving that pain. So that's short-term follow-up. Couple of days later, 3 days later, 4 days later max, after you send out the giveaways to them, they've had some time to consume it, you want to follow up with them again. Now, some people would stop at this. They'd send the giveaway, have a little PS, maybe do some short-term follow-up. But the real professionals, the ones that are going to generate the most revenue on LinkedIn, they're going to play the long game. Okay? And this is where, let's just say, you've done all of this stuff. You started this conversation, you've gone back and forth. They didn't book a call yet, because you have to understand, guys, only 3% of people are actually going to be ready to buy your solution at any given time. The rest of the 97%, they might have some intent, they might have some pain, but they're just not ready to book a call. That's why you need to play the long game with these people. So now they're kind of in your funnel. They've opted in the giveaway, you've DM'd them, you've maybe gone back and forth a little bit with them. Now it's time for you to play the long game. So you want to do your research. You want to check out their content, you want to check out their profile, their website, their blogs, etc. You want to do your research on them. And then maybe a month later, a couple of months later, whatever it may be, you want to re-engage these people. And you only want to do this if they're actually they've showed some level of intent, right? And they're actually your ICP. Obviously, if they showed zero intent in the sense that they've told you, no, like, we don't have this problem at all, like, stop talking to us, that's different. But people who've gone a little bit back and forth with, but they're just not ready to get on a call with you, they have some pain, but they're just not ready yet. These are the people you need to play the long game with. And you want to re-engage them by sending them an elite DM, maybe a month from now, 2 months from now, wherever it may be. You want to re-engage these people. So an elite DM is something like this. "Hey name, saw your comment about hitting a plateau at 12K. That's actually where most coaches get stuck. I had the exact same issue last year. What finally broke through was switching from time for money offers to leveraged offers, plus a simple DM system. Went from 12K to 30K in about 6 weeks. Happy to share the framework I used. Sure it would work for your business too. Would it be helpful if I showed you how it works?" As you can see, this is a very well-researched DM. It clearly shows that I've done my research. I've checked out their posts. I've understood where they're kind of at. And I'm leading with the value. And this is how you re-engage people that showed some level of intent. And this is how you play the long game. The second way to play the long game is, let's just say you've done this as well. You've sent this message and they're still not ready to get on a call, but they've showed some level of intent. You can then continue following up with them using value-driven follow-ups. So let's just say throughout this conversation thread, and again, you have to think of DMs as a conversation thread. It's not cold email. It's not send an email and then if they don't reply or don't get on a call, we just forget about them, go on to the next one. DMs are a conversation thread. They go back and forth. Just like WhatsApp, you have conversation thread with your friend. It goes back months or years. It can still be like that on LinkedIn. It's a conversation thread. So you can still follow up later, even if they didn't book a call. So let's just say in one of the conversations that you've had, they said they were struggling with X thing. Okay? But they're not ready to get on a call yet. But they've told you they have been struggling with deliverability, for example. You can follow up. It can be 30 days later, 2 weeks later, a month later, 2 months later, with a resource that you've created which helps them solve deliverability. So let's just say you're speaking to me I'm not ready to get on a call, but I've gone back and forth with it, and I did mention at one point that we are struggling with deliverability. So to re-engage me, maybe in a month or 2 months' time, you can be like, "Hey man, I was just thinking about you. We just created this 7-minute video for one of our clients about solving deliverability. It helped them increase their revenue from X to Y. Just wanted to send it through. I think it'd be valuable for you." This is a fantastic way of re-engaging these people without annoying them. Maybe a month after that, you can follow up again with a case study video of a client that you just helped, which is in a similar industry with them. As you can see, you're basically killing them with kindness. And that's what the long game is, killing them with kindness. Sending them value after value after value after value until they're finally ready to, like, okay, cool, like we've got enough value. We might be in a position to invest now. Tell us a bit more about what you do. Boom, you get them on a call. So that's how it works. Okay. As you can see, can you see how we've taken a giveaway, a simple giveaway, but we've added all of this back end stuff to actually turn it into revenue? And that's how I'm helping my clients crush it on LinkedIn. So it comes down to mindset. So this is how you play the game. This is how you play the game. You don't just send a DM and forget. You build a system where you attract, engage, and strategically re-engage and re-engage and re-engage for months. That's how you have massive pipeline, because it could be the 4th, 6th, 20th follow-up that actually leads them to get on a call and then buy from you. Okay. So hopefully this made sense and you found it valuable. If you want me to help you set this up, as well as all of our other LinkedIn content and outbound playbooks, book or call below if you think you'd be a good fit, and we can speak about how I can help you one-to-one scale on LinkedIn. Yeah, speak soon.